WEMF Radio. Listen to WEMFradio.com. WEMFradio.com.
Sweet.
Hey, I'm Pat B.
And I'm Adam Willis.
And you're listening to the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio. You know what? When y'all gonna let me record a new joint, I'm gonna be up there like, yo, man, you know what? I got nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Geek Down here on WEMF. I am Pat B. In the house, we got a whole cavalcade of lunatics for you and awesome stuff. I got to turn to the man on the side and show mad respect for the man, the myth, the legend. Nah, he's very much real. I'm talking about the realest of real.
Very much real here with busted ass headphones, busted ass mic stand.
That's how we roll,
Yeah, that's how we go. We're making it work. We're making it work.
Working a bootleg all day.
How we doing, bud?
Doing okay. That man is Black Adam Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you know her. You love her. We can't do the show without her. This is the first appearance in like 8 years, so apparently we tried.
We made a good run. Yeah.
Baddest bee in the room, Shayna.
Yes, sir.
Hey, welcome back. All right, right next to Shayna, the evilists, the heinous, the darkest of the dark, the terrifying of the terrifying. Am I overselling it?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no, I mean that's pretty spot on for what is it, Monday?
Yeah, it's Monday.
Damn, we got a long stretch to go with that.
All right, well on Monday, hit a grind your gears. Fem Bones.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, welcome back to the show. Friend of the show.
Very happy to be back.
Yeah.
We're talking in depth with Fem later on about Revenge of the Robot Battle Nuns.
Yes.
Want to give our listeners a quick summary of what that is?
Oh, absolutely. It is a Burlesque spectacle B-camp sci-fi extravaganza that is only happening 2 days this June. And you got to get tickets because there is no show like it in Boston.
Wow, sold. Right on that.
Jazzed. All right. And sitting right next to you, this man, I go to him for confession. And he immediately posted on the internet.
Don't be saying that, man. Don't be saying that. I'm going to lose my damn job. I'm just saying that.
I'm messing with you, brother. I'm messing with you. I'm talking, of course, about JM, the Thriller Priest.
Peace. What's going on, P? Glad to be here.
Hey,
Do you actually take confessional?
Yeah, I do. That's it. Don't mess around causing my damn job.
Nah,
all
right,
my jobs. Yeah.
You ever get like kids going in there and trying to mess around, like the movie Sleepers? You remember that? Like sneak into the confessional booth to hear it because it's more real than like TV for them. You know what I mean? And actual sins and stuff. It's a little dark, but
they're usually terrified.
Yeah, sure.
Like tales of a 12-year-old Pat. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. And, of course, the man, you see him fiddling with knobs and buttons and dials and things on the camera. I'm talking, of course, about just Johnny.
You.
Hey. All right. And, of course, the man in the booth, he's our man in Havana. He's the one who keeps us sounding crispy.
Yeah.
I'm talking, of course, about DJ Herbie Herb.
Hey, everybody. Yeah,
Hey,
biting into a
what's
Cuban
good,
sandwich right now.
Why are you hosting the quiet storm?
It's a love line. Maybe I am.
This dude over there. I always wonder why
he's having fun, though.
He's always the show with his pants off.
Yeah.
All right, so we have an action-packed, fun-filled show for you tonight. We have news, we have reviews, we have the interview with Fem Bones on Revenge of the Robot Battle Nuns, the show that I have missed the last 2 times it ran, and I'm hated. Well, this time I will now be front and center in the mother.
We're going to make sure.
Is there a splatter zone?
Oh, yeah, there is a splatter zone. But it's almost sold out.
I saw that.
Just saying.
We got to go.
So they were just, specced out on the floor plan to buy tickets. So,
yes.
Reminder to people, you might get wet.
The only burlesque show in Boston that comes with a video warning at top of show.
Better than a gore concert, guys.
Actually,
Yeah. Yes, now. Yeah.
Well, having never actually seen it, I imagine it's like that scene in Battle Royale. Everyone's there to see a nice show, and then you have someone very unassuming. Okay, you all are gonna get sprayed with blood.
Oh yeah, Jolie Levy. She's literally that character.
It's funny. I'm more picturing that show Preacher, like the first episode when everybody's heads kept exploding.
Oh yeah.
Well, from what I saw the sequel, you're not too far off.
Yeah. Oh.
It might be a baby uses a football. I don't know. Wait, am I giving away spoilers?
No, not this year. We actually. Anyway.
Okay, all right. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Anyone who's just listening to us, you can also watch us. We're broadcasting live on twitch.tv/thegeekdown. Oh yeah, Bones, I should have talked to you before the show.
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
Camera, right?
That would have been really cool to know about.
All right, well, Just giving a heads up.
Surprise!
You're being watched. All right, we're broadcasting
Ain't nobody
live
watching this
on
anyway.
Twitch, like I said, and also after the show, we'll give links on where you can catch up to us online, see rebroadcast, etc. But now I want to go into this news, man. It's not a happy story, it's not a sad story. It's just kind of one of those WTFs, man, because Marvel's releasing a new title, a new miniseries in this fall coming up called, the Venom-verse. Now, my thing is that they did the Spider-Verse not too long ago with like every Spider-Man across every genre.
Because one Spider-Man isn't enough.
One Spider-Man.
Especially not one Venom now is not enough. Venom.
Well, okay, yeah, so Venom getting like a big push.
You've been inoculated.
This is comics.
Okay.
Spider-Verse itself was a comic too, but was covering the Spider-Man from the cartoon series, Spider-Man from the comics, every variation of the comics, including the Ultimate Universe, the Japanese Universe, the Megaverse, including the Spider-Man from Hostess Fruit Pies back in the 70s.
Wow.
No, they've done like crossovers with like dimensions and stuff. This guy meets this guy. Miles Morales meets Peter Parker. It's a big thing. This was every Spider-Man.
Technically, those two live in
dimensions.
the same universe anyway.
They do now. They didn't always. But the thing with that was it was one storyline. Also, if they're doing like, hey, the TV Spider-Man, you remember kids that you loved, yet it was like the goriest story I've ever read in comics, like people being eaten on panel by cannibals. And just like I'm like, yo, this is Spider-Man. Don't you market this to 7-year-olds?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Maybe stepping a little too far. Who knows?
Well, anyway, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. What I'm getting at is that level of of saturation with one character and creating an entire universe because you like Spider-Man, you like him in this book, you like him in that book, but we're giving you every different one. I'm like,
yeah, we're gonna force it down your throats until you really dislike him.
Yeah, well, does saturation of a character like this like devalue it? Does it cheapen it? Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you can get sick of stuff. I mean, have you ever eaten the same food for like 3 weeks straight? You probably you need a break after. That's how I kind of see it. You know what I mean?
Sorry, dude. I just really like Marshmallow Peeps.
Right? I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, it's like anything. You know what I mean? Sometimes I get sick of superhero stuff. As it is now, there's so much. That's pretty much all that's getting produced.
I mean, but at the same time, to play devil's advocate here, I mean, it could be a good entry point for folks who aren't into superheroes or anything that's related to it. So it could be a good entry point for them.
Well, true. Pause before we have that rebuttal. I just want to point out how much I love the fact that the priest is playing devil's advocate. All right, continue. Sorry.
Dum-dum.
All right, but no. You make a good point, but my point is, I'm with Adam on this. It's like they take every opportunity, and by they I mean general, publishing houses or
the money makers.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, they always do
a
stuff
character
like
gets popular
this,
and they go nuts.
But they can do stuff to get you interested. I see what you're saying. Like it's a good entry point probably, but it's also just like, okay, part of being into like comic books or being into anything is getting a taste for it and then seeking it out.
Yeah.
Not just having here, okay, you bludgeoned with it all right, right away. So I think like giving them a sample, something like of quality, and then having them be like, okay, you like that, try this, and then you follow the breadcrumbs that way. That's how I would probably. That's how I enjoyed pretty much every piece of entertainment I've ever followed.
What I think is eventually it causes a loss of respect for the medium.
Yeah.
Like look at perfect example I think is Austin Powers. When Austin Powers came out, it kind of caused the
it's a good reference,
resurgence of 60s culture, man, mob music and the style and all this stuff. It's great.
So all these old references, and
yeah. And the thing is, like, it brought back, like, people were dressing differently. Music was like the old covers of all these old 60s songs that have been around forever.
There's
access them whenever
there's
you want.
a Beyond the Valley of the Dolls reference in the first Austin Powers.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Like that carried over into freaking kids movies and stuff. I was hearing baby on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I'm like, that's what no.
You was watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch, man?
You goddamn right I was, brother. I'm sorry.
He's like 28 years old watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Exactly. And Clarissa has
28 years old.
I mean, I was watching Clarissa when I was 15, but
so was I, brother. Hey, man, long-standing crush. She can get it today.
Yeah, I always like the guitar riff.
I think she's like 24 months pregnant too. Still.
Was that guitar riff whenever the ladder hits?
Sam would come in.
Sam
and notice,
the only guy I know that's other last name is O'Neill too, other than Czech.
Well, Ed.
Ed O'Neill.
She shot me.
Right now,
Ed O'Neill, there you go.
everybody's gonna start thinking of every
John
O'Neill they
O'Neill.
can think
Yeah,
of.
April.
Okay,
I mean, come
yeah.
on now.
Jermaine.
Yeah, April.
And the other April, the porn star. I mean, there's so many ways to go.
There is.
so
There is. We shouldn't. But
We should say that for later.
PG-13.
Roddy Piper does not approve.
no.
But the Macho
He's wearing a
King
skirt,
does.
though, yeah.
Macho King. Ooh, yeah. What do you think of that ass? Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. No, what I'm getting at is you introduce these things and they're cool. You keep force feeding people them, and it desensitizes you to them. It loses nothing. It's like saying a single word over and over again. You know, it loses all meaning, loses all.
You think it's
value.
worse now too than it used to be? Because I think it's with the internet, everything's just like layered on real thick. You know what I mean? You can avoid it, but only if you stay in your room and remove your phone.
Is this any worse than any of the other hokey gimmicks that comics have used over the years? Have we forgotten the rainbow bat suit?
No, I'm not talking about the.
I'm
not talking about the particular project.
tried,
I'm talking about
but-
is it worse nowadays?
It's much
in
worse
2017 than it is when it was, when Austin Powers came out in
Here's my
'97.
point of view, which is kind of a unique point of view, maybe not just to me, but definitely to us in this room. If you're aware of media through history, it hasn't been done often until recently.
Yeah.
But the fact that it has been done before the internet means that we basically have not learned from our mistakes.
Not at all.
The most pertinent example I can point out is friggin' Scooby-Doo. If anyone's aware of how many Scooby-Doo series there have been, in actuality,
That's a lot.
And Matt Lillard as the
there was
live action
close
version.
six
to 20.
alone during my childhood. So
Yeah.
it's like,
And
can't
I mean,
deal with the new
the regular
Scooby.
Scooby-Doo, a pup named Scooby-Doo,
Yeah,
the
no.
Return of Scooby-Doo, where they had a vampire friend, a vampire.
Oh
Latin
my God,
kid.
you're right.
Yeah.
when they
vampire
added
Latin
Scrappy
king.
Doo.
Yeah, Scrappy-Doo, that
Yeah.
god awful thing. There was the
Or the one when his cousin was on it.
Scooby-Dum.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was also the 90s return show, which didn't last long. The video game version, which brought back the 90s return show, which they forgot failed the first time. The 2000s show, which is still going now, and the series of movies that never ended. Scooby-Doo has never gone away.
There's a new reboot.
Scooby-Doo has never gone away.
It's never gone away, and it's never been
it's
good,
never-
God. Never.
It'll never go away.
It's yeah. well.
Remember in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back when they have the mystery machine right there, and they all get baked in the back of it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Dream come
Scooby
true.
snacks. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, they all.
I mean,
wanna know what's
somebody
going
had
down
to be
with
getting high in the mystery machine. I mean,
Well, yeah.
Shaggy and Scooby weren't that hungry for no reason.
Even in the movies, they allude to it, but
They
they're
have
like,
to,
we
yeah.
know what you're all thinking. We're thinking.
Yeah.
Was it Casey Kasem did the voice too?
Yeah,
He
Scooby
did.
of
Yeah,
Shaggy.
too.
Well, I think that was never truer than on an episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast when they showed the police cam video and
Yes.
and you hear
Yeah,
Shaggy.
that's a show.
You know what just dawned on me, Scooby Dooby.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the parody of them on Venture Brothers 2? Where it's really fucked up, and Shaggy is schizophrenic, which is why he can hear Scooby talking to him all the time, and he keeps giving
But why
Scooby
can't
snacks,
everyone
which is his
else hear it?
medication.
Yeah.
I actually had a
remember that
beer
too.
with James Urbaniak once.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Damn.
he was wearing a polka dot shirt.
He told me secrets. Nah, he was wearing polka dots. Yeah, it was straight comment. All right, but okay, that's the perfect example. That we all have seen these different versions of Scooby Doo. Does any of that make you like Scooby Doo anymore?
No, but I don't like it any less either. It's
Okay,
Yeah.
I personally can't stand it because I've seen it start off as this simple 60s show. These weird kids. You want to know, don't you all have jobs or homes or families and stuff?
They were supposed to be
and then
teenagers.
but then they're meeting the Globetrotters. They're solving crimes with
It
Phyllis
wasn't
Diller.
until the
Are
Don
you
series
Knotts
during
and
the
you
stuff.
weren't part of the Scooby
late
gang?
90s,
exact- I was-
early aughts that they were
Sound
supposed
jealous.
to be young professionals. Before that, they weren't older than 18.
Okay, these there was no trust funds involved here. They
No,
later
they were
on
just
they tried to say
small-town
well,
kids.
Fred
They
tried
afford
to-
gas
Fred
no,
definitely could
Because
have
they
had a
had
trust
probably
What,
fund.
he wore-
two-parent
he wore an
homes,
ascot?
and they were
Yeah.
probably middle class, and so their parents could break them off chain.
I just don't. Well, I don't want to actually have to assume all that either. But
I mean,
It's actually a very
it was
cult-like
It
activity.
was a group
No,
of.
I think
I'm
so.
sorry,
Yeah.
a group of white kids who drive around in a van. I
The
assume
dark
they
truth.
came from a middle class family. If it was the 60s,
In the 60s,
yeah.
they lived near. You know, they were just
no, they were
Like,
hippies. They were
Hippies
parents
were
disowned
the
them. What do you
children.
mean?
Most hippies were the children of middle class.
They were on
America.
a cross-country traveling
That their
orgy
parents
tour,
turned
okay?
to-
That's what
Yeah.
they were. That bus had shag
Not
carpeting.
it's
in the
not all of
suburbs.
them,
Of course not. But
but some of them just decided to be a hippie, and their parents didn't get it, so off they went.
that's a whole.
The
Yeah.
mystery machine.
Right.
The mystery was syphilis.
Possibly.
What I'm getting at is though force feeding all of us all of these is basically just gonna create disdain over time. I think, and Venom is a property that I liked when it was just a simple Spider-Man villain who knew a little too much about him. You know, that was like that made him a villain with intrigue. That was like Bane. We've never seen this dude, and he studied Batman. He knows all the tricks. Oh, you know, he knows how to get him.
My whole thing is this, Pete, and I hear you, but at some point, we can.
Like
all I'm saying is, at some point, you really could just opt out of it.
Fair enough.
So for me, I'm just like, you know what? There's so much other good stuff out there. If you're gonna try to force feed this to me, you know what? I don't got to eat it. And maybe for somebody else, it'll be a great entry point for them. But for me, I'm like, you know what? I don't got to buy what you're trying to sell me right now.
That's what I'm saying. It's easier now because you have 1,000 different channels. You have 1,000 different things.
And
you can turn it off.
besides, we all know that there is going to be a Venom movie at some point in the near future. And of course, they're going to start a new series. They let them not make the same mistake Baywatch did by not doing the smart thing by streaming their show before the movie came out.
You're right.
I don't think that would have saved Baywatch,
though. It would have at
though.
least gotten old fans to be excited enough to go see
I think
it.
the old fans went, but there was only like 1,000 of them.
Right.
Well, where's Pam
you know what I mean? The movie made
But
some
think
money, but
about
not nearly enough.
all the
Bad
younger
scene.
people who probably would have thought it was
Things have
stupid
not
enough.
gone
The
to
well.
problem was they made a throwaway action movie for
like,
$75 million. They could have made it for 30.
They didn't even try.
No, they didn't. That's their problem.
All right. Well, what it comes down to is I'm against it. Adam's for it. The priest here says just say no. Thank you, my man.
I just
no
accepted it.
snap.
I love how you finish my. This is what he meant, and then moves on before I have a retort. Actually,
He's like,
you know.
Adam, your opinion is not valid.
I did not mean to step on your toes, my brother.
No, I don't have
he
one.
is
Go ahead.
stomping on him. I
I don't have any toes.
I don't have any toes.
All right. Well, if you have anything to say on this topic, hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com. You can follow up and see what's good. We want to hear from you on why I'm right. Okay, so moving right in, we got a comic review. Jay and I got to check out Lobster Johnson. This is actually Lobster Johnson.
That's your nickname, right?
It's good.
I don't even want to know why someone would have that kind of nickname.
Because he's the claw of justice.
Yes, he is.
That is not what comes to mind when you put
I think
Lobster
Lobster,
and Johnson together.
What comes to
All
your
I'm
mind?
saying.
Oh, okay. Shane thinks
This is a family-friendly show.
Shane thinks of like a fanned-out mushroom head, and it's gross.
That's not what I think at all.
It's
Anything I think is disturbing.
Not
so I
nine.
agree
Like a
with
lobster
those
tail?
two
9.
words.
It's a prehensile. Okay, no, never mind.
Yeah, see?
What I'm Lobster Johnson. This is actually a character
It's like one of
from
my shows.
the Hellboy universe.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a continuation of an not this isn't a continuation. This is a continuation of the universe of a separate character. This is like an Elseworld, not an Elseworlds. What do you like? Parallel fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So Hellboy and his crew are going on, about their business. This is a story that's happening with, a side character. Someone else who exists in their world, but not the main crew. I usually really like these, and in this book, I didn't hate it. I actually like these kind of stories. This is about a damn it, I forget the exact year. I want to say like 50s, 40s, 50s.
Around that time, yeah.
Yeah, because it's definitely when Hellboy's a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And the character of Lobster Johnson is a crime fighter, a la less like Batman, more like Midnighter.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Meaning he will kill him off. He murders people in the name of justice.
Fair enough.
The actual he brands them and lets them go. The actual synopsis here. The New York Harbor Patrol are in over their heads when a mysterious pirate ship appears in the Hudson River, and Lobster's hunt for a major crime boss may have something to do with it. In a world currently obsessed with capes and cowls, it's sometimes refreshing to have pulp sci-fi, and this was definitely pulp sci-fi. I liked that part of it. My only beef with this, I'll just come out and say it right now before we give any actual detail, is the wrap-up was kind of sloppy. Because it's one of those stories where they actually gave you a lot of really cool avenues the story could have taken.
Yes.
And then it kind of leaves those out there like, maybe in the future, but not now. Like, what? It starts off with this interracial couple having an argument about, not just their standing in society and how that can cause a little turmoil, but realistic aspects of their particular lifestyles. Now, this isn't just, well, I work at a bank and I work at the newspaper or I work at the post office or something. This is, I'm a reporter. And I'm a freaking, world traveling crime fighter. So will long distance relationship work when, New York is throwing tomatoes at us and stuff? It's like that could have been some deep stuff to cover. It was
a little intense.
They touch on that, and then it kind of goes nowhere, which was a little disappointing. They also had another lead-in of the villain. Is he really a bad guy, or is he a victim of, like, depression, and does he have a mental disorder? You know, he's kind of schizophrenic, and like, okay, that's an interesting avenue too for a period piece like this to cover. Okay, great. And they approached it from like a Johnny Quest point of view, which made it make more sense in this world, and I was there. You know, I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm actually all in. Let's see what's up. And they kind of breezed over that too. His wife is in a coma, and it could have been a story about, you know, how people react to situations of depression with their loved ones and their place in society. I'm like, yo, this is deep as I'm into it. And again, fell flat. And they kept it as a okay, even at the base level, this could have been a dope story about ghost pirates. You know, I'm like, I've read every single Hardy Boys. Bring it on.
That's what I thought I was going with it for a while. I was like, okay, we're gonna see how this pans out. And
man, this whole thing is like, damn, let me see, 30, 69. The whole thing's like 90 pages. That's like 4 of them. You know, the whole ghost pirate thing, and the thing's called the Pirate Ghost. Man, I felt so let down. You know, there was like 2 pages of pirates, 4 pages of pirate ghosts, and the rest was all exposition. Mm-hmm. You know, normally
so you wanted more pilot.
Yeah, this was like they tried to compress a whole deep detective novel into a pamphlet. You know, I wasn't disappointed, but I do feel it could have done a lot more. I got an okay story where I felt they really had great story material. I agree
wholeheartedly. It was, you gave me something, but you didn't tie it up nicely for me, and I was kind of hoping it would be tied up nicely. So I mean, it was good for what it was.
It was okay for what it was. Yeah, I agree. I also have to appreciate, like, the artwork on this definitely tied into it's
the time frame.
Yeah,
it really does. It definitely gives a throwback to like 60s sort of style of illustration. Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely works. I could place a soundtrack to every scene, you know, just because I'm watching things and everything fit. You know, they're using era-appropriate dialogue even.
Yep.
You know, and it was what's up. And I do have to also appreciate that it crossed like color lines and stuff. You know, the main villain, one of the main villains is this little Russian guy. I'm like, but weren't we kind of at odds with Russia for a lot of that time? It was like a strained friendship thing. I'm like, oh, they're there. You know, one of the main dudes was a brother. You know, they weren't all over the place, but they were there. You know, they did pay attention. Yeah.
Nobody was Russia's friend in that particular time frame. So
no, this is true. That's what I'm getting at. You know, but
no, we were never friends. No, we really weren't. We had an agreement not to
It's not important.
Yeah. It was like a Wolfgang and
Puck. Yeah,
Ludwig, a Wolfgang and Ludwig relationship. If you remember, Hey Arnold.
Just kind of accepted each other existed.
Yeah, kind of like that. You know, you got a Torvald and who was the other one? I forget.
I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
All I know is Stoop Kid's afraid to leave his stoop. I appreciate this book for what it was. I wouldn't highly recommend it for anyone who's a fan of, like, you know, period pieces, or anyone who's a fan of like deep detective stuff, because it was mostly about the investigation, but it promised to be about much more, and all you got was them asking questions, them approaching this guy, they interrogate this guy, and it's like, oh, it's about to get real and violent. No, everything was kind of like a bunch of false starts. You know, so this is an okay read if you're, you know, on the toilet, you got nothing else to, you know, pick up, and you just need to pass a few minutes. Besides that,
Wow. All right.
Well, I mean,
that's the biggest endorsement.
Right.
I really want
to. So strong. I want to go get it right now.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Maybe that's I'm being a little glib. Jay, what do you got, man?
I would say, bottom of the pile of like your comics to read, but I wouldn't say, you know, wait till you go to the bathroom for it. It'll definitely be one of those.
That's how I get most of everything done.
What I mean by that is when you got time.
You must be
that's what I mean. When you got some time to spare.
Yeah.
I feel like this is saying that every dude here apparently spends more than 20 minutes in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Hey, when you gotta go,
that's what I signed up for.
That seems like a lot. Maybe I'll all need more fiber.
Hey, you don't know my diet. All right. Well, the book is called The Pirate's. The book is called Lobster Johnson, The Pirate's Ghost. Yeah. Check it out. It's available now. Dude, it's a 3-part miniseries, and it is not quite up to the standard of Hellboy books, but it's. I don't know. It's somewhat appropriate. It's there.
It's fine.
You know, yeah.
Not hurting anybody.
Not showing off, not falling behind.
No, right? I would have liked to have been more jazzed. Okay, but no, if you have anything to say about that, hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts. Maybe you read the book. Maybe you want to find out where to get it. Who knows? Okay, John, you've been kind of quiet over there.
Huh?
What?
Be ever vigilant, always prepared, and paying attention, just Johnny.
Yeah.
You got to check out a game, my friend, called Regalia. Regalia regale us with the tape.
You beat me to
Men
that one.
and Monarchs. It's a so Regalia of Men and Monarchs is it's a Kickstarter game, a very successful Kickstarter campaign. It got a lot of fans behind it, and it actually released, and it's actually pretty good. It's one of those rare cases where, unlike that Mega Man sort of game that crashed and burned. No, the one that was made by the executive producer of the Mega Man series, Mighty Number 9, and that one failed super hard.
Which is a shame, dude. I love Mega Man. That one hurt me personally.
And then very recently, that Gecko one, Ukulele.
I didn't play that.
Ukulele, yeah, that one.
What Ukulele? What kind of game is that?
that one kind of was like a mixed bag. It gave the Kickstarter backers what they wanted, but it kind of failed in a lot of other sense. It was like very dated gameplay and stuff like that. Anyway, Regalia is sort of kind of like that, but for the tactical turn-based RPG side of things. So this game is if you've played like Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre or any other style of game like that, you're going to know what to expect. You essentially have this isometric perspective that the game takes place on, and you have this grid-based battlefield of squares, and then you'll have like obstacles that make up that sort of shape that battlefield that you're in that you have to maneuver around or take cover behind. And you have enemies in there, and you trade turn for turn, and you move your characters about, kill the other enemies, try to rout them, try to prevent your own characters from dying. You can pick and choose who you want to deploy, and that's essentially, I'd say, about half the game. The other half of the game is, I guess, very heavy role-playing elements and very interesting role-playing elements. Some of it not executed as well as it could have been, but for the most part, it's pretty good. The story and sort of the writing of the dialogue, it's very comical. It's very anime-inspired, and anime for very young teenagers can consume. You're not getting anything fancy here with the writing.
The artwork that I saw, it looked kind of like Ranma.
Ranma.
Is that out of the too far out of the
I
realm?
am not familiar with that, so.
You don't know Ranma.
Shayna, break it down for him.
Sorry.
Okay, so Ranma one half is a Japanese anime about a arrogant boy and his father who are martial arts experts that go to train at a cursed spring in China because they couldn't read the signs, fall in, and anybody who falls in the springs turns into the thing that last drowned in it.
Whoa.
Interesting.
Well, it's a little
and
less dark than
turns
it sounds
into it's a total comedy. Ranma, when he falls to the spring of drowned girl, turns into a very pretty redhead girl with big rack. Every time cold water hits him, and only warm water will turn him back. His father falls into a spring of drowned panda and turns into a giant panda every time he gets wet. Hijinks ensue when he meets his arranged fiance.
Sounds like the plot to Gremlins 3.
That's
in the
I'm glad you said that.
It's in the movie.
I was struggling for a when Ranma gets wet joke. It was very bad.
I saw you fishing for a while. I'm going to save that, but you had to put it out there anyway.
Not as
The wheels were turning
kooky or
out.
quirky.
So is that completely in the ball? Is that in the ballpark?
Not as quirky as something like that.
Anything like that, Johnny? Was it anything like any of that?
It's medieval setting. It's actually nothing like that.
Yeah, not at all. Maybe the actual drawing style, which I guess that's what he's alluding to.
The artwork.
Yeah.
That was, but no, it was definitely worth this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a medieval fantasy. There's trolls, there's knights, there's magic users. So that's kind of the setting, and that's more along the lines of like Tactics Ogre and Final Fantasy Tactics and other games like that. Also, like Fire Emblem is something that this kind of mirrors.
Well, give us the good, the bad, man.
Yeah. So to sort of continue on the story itself, there's dialogue in this. So this is a Kickstarter game where there is full voice acting.
Not voice acting.
Pretty much all of the story. Well, that's kind
kind of a decent effort it takes, and it's not bad voice acting. It's actually
Billy West?
good.
Yeah.
Yo, that's awesome because typically what I see with Kickstarters is just kind of imagery, maybe even some storyboards, but to actually see and actually hear voices, that's a huge deal, man.
Throughout the whole thing, it's fully voiced. There's side quests and stuff like that you won't get voice acting, but for the most part, all the serious stuff
base belong to us.
Is voice acted, and of the voice actors there, a lot of them sound like professionals that have done anime, brought over to English voice actors and whatnot that are very familiar with this type of content. Now, this type of content is very English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there are English anime.
Man, I watched all my anime in Esperanto. I don't know how you get it down, but
I watched it in English like a normal person.
But
so, subs, not dubs.
So it's at a.
I'm kidding.
I do.
Yeah.
I prefer subtitles, but sometimes I'm
Me
busy.
too.
Look, I
Me
want
too.
to
Read, God forbid.
Authentic.
I want to see
Sometimes
the
the
art. I
person
don't want to spend the whole time
doesn't
reading and
need-
You don't
realize,
have
oh, this
to.
sounds
You
like a
don't
dope
have to.
scene. Let me
I
rewind
do
and watch
both.
it again.
Like,
Yeah.
It's
I'll be-
authentic.
I watch all my
Authenticity. I'm
series
with you.
twice,
Alright.
so it's cool.
Yeah, so it's got good voice acting. There are some characters that are done that are of very professional quality, and there are many others that aren't done at professional quality. They're not very well executed, but they're not bad at all, and they don't detract from the experience. It's just like, that could have been delivered a little bit better. But the problem, there's a lot of problems with this game, a whole lot of problems. And if this game didn't have all these problems, if it had more polish and sort of more, if they reassessed some of the things that they implemented in here, this would be a fantastic game, and I would give it a full round recommendation across the board. But there are some really big problems with this, mainly that story-wise, there's a whole slew of problems, and then with just the gameplay and sort of the pacing of the game itself, there's other problems there. I don't have enough time to go through each of those, but to say that probably the biggest problem is the load screens in this game are absolutely unforgivable, atrocious, bad. This is a game that is scene, load screen. Every single transition between every single scene that you see in this game, load screen every single time. Jeez. Now, the load screens, they're not super long, but they are there every single time. So there's this town, this sort of your estate, your castle in the nearby surrounding area. It has sort of like a Civ type of thing where you're building up shops and building up towns and leveling those things up and visiting the tavern, visiting your castle, and taking care of your war battalion and sort of talking to your party members and whatnot. All of that stuff every single time you want to go from your castle to the tavern or whatever. And this is just one. It's like you're looking at a map essentially, and you're just picking another part on the map. You're just point and clicking on another button in order to transition to the other area. So you're teleporting there, but it's a load screen every single time.
Okay. So I'm some Resident Evil 1 status. So, I can open a door.
Yeah.
4 minutes later, the door's open. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong room. Go back. 4 minutes later.
It is just like Resident Evil 1, where every single time you want to enter some other place, you're going through a door load screen every single time.
All right, man. So end of the day, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I recommend it to tactics users, but I don't recommend it for people who want an interesting role-playing story. There's some really good role-playing elements in here, but the dialogue is just cheesy, bad written.
With voice actors.
And the comedy is tropey. It's very tropey. That is like the biggest problem, is that it's so tropey and so like samey that it's disappointing. But the gameplay is fun. The story is not bad. The voice acting is decently delivered. But there's so many problems everywhere. I can't tackle all of it. But I wish this game was a lot better. I would give a across-the-board recommendation. If you're a tactics fan, and if you don't mind load screens, then
honestly,
who's the guy out there that does?
mind
I don't mind him.
I would love
laundry
I would
done, I
love
do my
for one
Give me time to get my
developer
chips.
to do something interesting with their load screen. Anybody. I just would love somebody who had a interesting something
Ridge
happening in their
Racer
load
Revolution.
screen.
What they did with the load screen was anytime the tracks would load, you could play Galaga.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
See, this is what I mean. This is
Yeah,
what
that's not
everybody
bad.
should do. I'm tired of games that are like
You think if they
billions
could
in
do
the
that,
making,
they just make it a faster
and
load
that
screen.
and all they
We
do is like a
talked about that last
little
year.
message in a little bar going across.
Well, we
Give me
talked about
some
that
more.
last year. Right after that, I think for 12 years, Was it Namco that did it? Johnny, do you know?
Probably.
They had the patent on load screens where they didn't allow anyone to use it because they held all the copyrights. Basically, if you made anything for a load screen besides the word loading, you had to pay them.
Wow.
So
Wow.
That's a great. That's a great.
I mean, it is a great
Yeah,
racket.
it made games suck for a decade plus when they could do anything with the load screen up until
Right?
like last year. And
Like-
until then, I think maybe not enough people have known about it, so not a lot of games have done anything with their load screens.
I'm
since.
just saying, if we spend $60 or more for a game, I'm just saying I would like there to be something interesting in every aspect.
Oh yeah, no,
of
I'd
it.
love to still be playing
That's
Galaga
all.
between load
You know,
screens.
that's all I'm asking.
Which was awesome, though.
Like,
you know,
I didn't
just
spend all
people-
that damn money on Final Fantasy 15 to get the same goddamn tits every time and that bar running across.
Well, this isn't load screens, and this isn't unavoidable load screens. This is very avoidable load screens, and that's what makes it all the worse.
Well,
It could have been
it's-
avoided.
I'm sure that's where
Yeah.
money constructs come from, you know.
All right, well, if this moved you, or if you hate the review, you want to tell Johnny how wrong he is, and you loved Regalia, you have a tattoo somewhere on your body, please let us know.
I would love if that person exists.
I would.
And
That
I really
person
want.
does exist somewhere.
Right? Please, if you
somewhere.
exist and you're listening, please comment. Cause
This
no,
is
no,
it-
no,
it is a
please
game you will
seek
be a fan of it if you play it. Like, this is definitely a game that will have a lot of fans. So I'm not saying that there won't be, but if you're on the fence, I mean, it's a $25 game, so it's on Steam.
That's
It's $25.
Some consideration.
It's a higher price than what you normally expect for indie. So
Yeah, pace yourself. All right, well, geekdownradio@gmail.com if you want to comment on it. Now, we have kept our in-house guest waiting long enough. I want to turn the microphone over to Fem Bones.
Yeah.
Lowdown
hello.
on Revenge of the Robot Battle Nuns. Fem, how you doing?
Oh, I am doing so well. I can't say how excited I am about this show. Like, we took a year off from this show. It's actually our 5th run doing it, and most of our cast has been with us since the first time we did it. And every time I see them, they're like, when are we doing Robot Nuns again? When's it coming back? We've had some of the same fans come back for all 5 runs, and again, they're like, when is it coming back? Do you have more dates this year? What's going to happen? Are the same, like, because we change things little bits every single time. The story gets more detailed, the characters get more intricate, and it always gets more and more ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So people are always like, what's in store this time? And what's in store this time is pretty gross. So I'm pretty excited.
That's awesome.
Oh,
It's like,
it's
yeah.
going to be amazing. You take the kids now, it's going to be disgusting.
Oh, it's going to
Like,
be
it will
revolting.
turn
Yeah.
your belly
That's so good.
Oh.
I like it.
inside out.
Yeah, no, I mean, this show, there's a lot of really great burlesque here in Boston. And right now, a big thing is tribute shows or shows around a certain like nerd theme and things like that. And I love those shows too. There's a ton of them happening this year. But I get really excited about Robot Nuns because it's an all original script. It is being turned into a comic book slowly, actually,
Yeah, you
by
mentioned
yours
that
truly.
too. Tell us about that. That's freaking cool.
Yeah, well, I'm a graphic artist, and I've done a little bit of comic work here and there, and it is my dream at some point to turn the entire story into a 300 to 500 page graphic novel. The story actually is incredibly more complicated and deep than we can present it as on stage, because again, this is a crowd that it is a burlesque show. They're rowdy, they're fun, and they're easily confused. So we do try to make it B camp rules, easy to follow, because there's a lot of characters and a lot of stuff happens to all of them. So
Yes, I
Yeah.
see an elbow going on.
but basically, it's an apocalyptic sci-fi gorelesque live show. And you start off meeting some of the main characters, mostly following this female reporter as she's trying to get to the bottom of what's clearly a huge story. And she's at a political press conference where we meet the president and his family. We have a little helicopter that flies over the ceiling of Oberon. It is ridiculous. We've got all these like Statue of Liberty go-go dancers, and off the bat, we have this crazy thing, Project Wild Card. And the whole idea is that this virus, when, exposed, people can affect them in any way, in any form, anything can happen.
Okay.
Maybe you'll get a superpower, but more likely your insides will probably melt out of your body, or you'll turn into a mutant version while, mutating at the same time as your dog, or you'll turn into a radioactive mermaid, or maybe you'll go crazy and start eating people. Literally anything can happen to you based on your chemical
That's like the worst
construction.
case scenario of like Steve Urkel's transformation. Change.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is exactly what it's like. And of
Instead of
course,
Stefan, you get
Stefan, you go with Santa Claus,
So
you know.
much
and of course, in like classical B camp tropes, it explodes immediately, infecting everyone at this press conference. And we see, mostly we follow actually the president's daughter, Sweetheart, who is played by Ginny Nightshade, who's usually known as one of the main producers of Old School Game Show. Just phenomenal actress. She plays our Sweetheart, this incredibly bratty, over the top, very you're gonna love to hate her. That's the only way to put it. She's like the worst
Much like
part
the
of
actual
American
president.
stereotypes. But yeah, no, she's so gross. And then her father's aide, Sir, who's played by Dale Stones, known from Burlesque fame, who's also having
Friend of the show.
and that character is having an affair with her father. So there's an illicit affair between his male aide and the president. And they try to survive the apocalypse, and they meet the lesbian spider cult and the crying goat woman, and of course, crazy nurses, and there's the cannibal triplets, and there's a lot that happens in this show. And again, there's so much good burlesque in Boston, but this is definitely a show you will not see anything like it here anywhere else, except June 16th and 18th at Oberon.
And we mentioned already a splatter
yeah.
zone too.
There
which
is
will
a
be
splatter
happening.
zone. There's burlesque. There's drag. There's stilt walking. There's circus arts. There's splatter. There's video editing. There's all custom sound effects. A battle will actually happen in the venue. You may get used as a human shield if you're in the audience. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things
You're killing me. Next, you're gonna say you might even see some boobs.
You see a few of those.
Oh,
Yeah, we mostly see Dale Stones naked. So
I'm okay with that. I've seen Dale Stones.
We're all
The
okay with
cuts.
that.
The
We're
cuts, my friend,
Ugh.
ridiculous.
It's great.
Anyone who's listening,
That sums it up.
That is an
anyone
endorsement.
who's just listening now,
It's
watching,
great.
we really just like lost Bones here to a moment of reflection.
I purposely moved back out the shot so people could see her. So if you're watching her on Twitch, you can just zoom in on her face. It just saw that zone
man.
out
Like,
of Mr. Stones.
I must say that is one riveting endorsement.
Thank you. I actually also play probably the second most handsome man in the show. I play
Wait,
a male.
you wrote me in the show? That's awesome.
No. I'm talking
She
about
said
me.
second most handsome.
Yeah.
Ah, true. All right, sorry, I
Yeah.
wasn't listening.
I didn't say
Finn.
Finn.
What? Wow.
You had to know where that was going.
Oh,
Like,
Man, I can't help it. I'm walking away. It's like raining on me.
Oh man.
No, it's okay.
Next,
Yeah.
you're gonna kick the football when I try to kick it right.
No,
So you play a
we'll
man.
rip it away.
I
You
do.
play that.
I do a lot of drag kinging these days, which I really enjoy. And I'm also in my burlesque troupe, the Slaughterhouse Society, am probably one of the more physically strong and bigger people. So it just makes a lot of sense for me to often play male characters in our stories when one is needed. And also, I feel pretty studly when I put on a beard.
Me too.
And I have a very
When I grow
attractive beard in this show. But no, my counterpart in the show is Maggie Maraschino, who, if you've seen any burlesque shows, you've seen her and you remember her. She's a phenomenal dancer. We finally got her back from California. She's in just about everything. And we play this tragic couple where I'm the lead scientist who has created the robot nuns, and my wife, Faith, is being affected by the virus. I happen to be immune. And to try and save her, I've found a way to replace her parts with robotic ones. But while trying to save her, I'm actually destroying any ounce of humanity she has left. So the only way to try to keep her alive is to actually silence everything about her that I love.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That is
All right, now you were
That's
on
right,
We
that's
mentioned
just
you're part of the
twisted.
show because you've been on before. You were here to promote
Pulp Friction
Spider.
and
Oh.
Spider Cult.
Yeah. Now, how do those relate to this show?
Oh, well, Spider Cult, we actually took a year off from Robot Nuns because I was approached to actually do a spin-off musical based off Robot Nuns. So Spider Cult was actually a prologue. Again, the story's super vast in my head. Like, if you sit me down, I can tell you a lot more about the story than what you see in the show. I'm very ready to make it into a
At one
comic
point,
format.
man, the kids dressed as spiders and they get in this van. They travel the country with a dog.
He's got a cigar. Like, it's crazy shit.
It's crazy. They meet the Globetrotters and they meet Phyllis Diller.
There's a whole
I've
burlesque.
got this whole thing in the
expanded
back, which is
universe.
like all the like pinpoints, putting it all together. No, but it was a prequel show and it was great. We had an all original soundtrack done by Catherine Capazzi, who's amazing, and it was a great time. In fact, I've met a lot of people who are some of the few newcomers to the show this round from Spider Cult. So if you were at Spider Cult and you loved performers such as Simone Dubois or Wisty, or you fell more in love with Mary Widow, well, you're going to see a lot of them. Spider Cult is definitely back in this show, and it is more making out than ever before. So if nothing else, there's some crazy cannibalistic spider women who are going to make out, and that's going to be pretty worth price of admission.
Nice.
I'm
That
just
sound
saying.
like it.
Sounds like, yeah.
I feel like I should invest in one of those.
Told you,
VIP
sold,
tickets.
yeah.
Our Spider Queen is even Miss Gay Rhode Island, Complete Destruction, who also recently joined our troupe. And if you've ever seen Complete Destruction, then you have the same feelings I do.
Wow.
But I want them, I think.
Oh,
I want
man,
those, right?
like
I
a
want those.
living monster, ridiculous makeup
What do you look like? You
skills
might
and
need a
stage
minute.
presence. I need a day, an evening, maybe just one night.
I'm going to give you one of those right there. All right. Okay, so give our listeners a heads up. Where can they actually get tickets to this bad boy?
Oh, sorry.
Where can they purchase?
Oh, well, we're doing this at the beautiful Oberon Theater. Again, Oberon is a hub for Boston Burlesque. And this show, it's an all-around experience. So they'll be in the balcony, they'll be in your laps, they'll be in your seats, they'll be running all over the place.
They'll
And
be in your
sometimes
house.
they're even on stage. And they might be at your house. Hey, they will be at your house if you don't come to this one.
Oh, wow.
We're going to find you.
That sounds
But
serious.
you can go to AmericanRepertory.com or just Google search Revenge of the Robot Battle Nuns. You'll
Should be the only hit, right?
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Should
be. It should be.
If you're
Look us
in
up
the
on
Internet's a weird place.
Look
so,
us
but-
up on Facebook. We have tons of sneak peeks this year. We have custom nuclear themed cocktails this year, which is great. I personally am voting for a Bride of Frankenslime cocktail, but we'll see if that happens.
I like it. It
But
sounds like
tickets.
an adult ecto cooler. I'm feeling it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Does.
But
If you need
tickets
a
are
dress, I got it.
Slurm.
Slurm. Don't go slurm.
I got a bride dress if you need it.
But tickets are between 15 to
Gloss over that
25, depending how deep in the splatter zone you want to be. Again, the show is only June 16th and 18th. The last time we did this, we had a 4-show run, and they sold out like crazy. And every year, people ask, is there one more ticket? And the answer is no. So you should get your tickets while they last and join us in the apocalypse. Again, you will not be disappointed. This is a bomb-ass show.
All right, get
Yeah.
on that.
Nice.
All right, Revenge of the Robot Battle Nuns. Bones. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, now I'm just going to jump into a real quick review. I got to check out the movie that is pretty much number one in the box office right now and blowing up left and right. I'm talking, of course, about Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, now the world's waiting for you.
No more.
No support. What's going
No,
on?
man, we ain't got
Nobody
time.
knows
We ain't got
those
time for that,
verses.
man. We ain't got
Not
time.
the whole song.
Fine.
Yeah, we
I'm a
just know
nerd.
though.
You know, we ain't got time.
Hey,
That's
look,
that
Linda
part.
Carter is a badass singer.
I
okay?
know.
If anyone's played Fallout 4,
Mm.
she's
Nah, but
she's the one that sings all those bonus songs you can get halfway through the game.
Huh. Good on.
Small little trivia. Okay, what?
That's all her. We're talking about Wonder Woman, the
Yeah.
2017 film starring Gal Gadot.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Gadot.
I thought it was good though.
Misconception. First, people thought it was Godot. Then it was corrected, quote unquote, as Gadot by I think it was Jimmy Kimmel.
Fair
She
enough.
herself actually pronounced it correctly. It's Gadot.
It's her
So basically,
name.
split the difference.
Yeah,
No, I know.
She actually pronounced it correctly, but it's her name.
No, I mean,
She
she pronounced it
should.
for the people, so you get it from the source. It's
Gotcha.
Gadot. And it's one of those things I can do the glottal stop. Say Gadot, I guess, if you can't. There's no problem. Thank you. All right, but no, we got to see the story of Wonder Woman, which I'm very happy to have gotten to see this movie. Because first and foremost, I just gotta let y'all know it was good.
It was so
it was good, and it was so.
good.
That's the thing. I was like, this is actually the only DC movie that I actually want to see, and I was actually
I
paid
haven't
off
seen so
because it's
far.
worth seeing because DC sucks.
They do.
Okay,
They
I won't
really
go that
do.
far.
Their
I don't wanna
movies
hear-
suck.
They
I don't
haven't
wanna
had
hear
a
that.
worthwhile movie.
And we can get
since
into an
don't.
argument about
Dark
that
Knight,
later.
yes.
We ain't
There
had enough
has
time,
not
but this is
been
good.
one.
This
Their
is
movies
good.
are garbage.
They're
movies
such
are
just
Absolutely,
hot.
they're garbage.
Every single one of their movies is
And-
garbage.
For the record, that is all trash, what you just said. Stop hating.
Hey,
This
that's
is
garbage. garbage,
for Batman.
more garbage.
Keep the levels within
And as Adam said, there's no time to go into it. We'll hash this
Yeah,
out.
we'll get
Yes,
there.
we
I actually
will.
want to have
Yes,
this
we will.
conversation.
Okay.
Really.
All right, well, just
We will
going into the
get into
synopsis. Before she was Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, she was Diana, Prince of the Amazons, trained to be an what? Oh, trained to be an unconquerable warrior. Raised on a sheltered island paradise, Deanna meets American pilot played by Chris Pine. His name is Steve Trevor, who tells her about a massive conflict that's raging in the outside world. Convinced that she can stop the threat, Deanna leaves her home for the first time, fighting alongside men in a war to end all wars. She finally discovers her full powers and true destiny. One of the things I really admire them for doing and respect that they didn't go the obvious route is this is set in World War One.
That's what I liked about it most, I think.
Yeah,
To be honest
most movies are set in World War II. World War One's almost never explored.
Fair
It
enough.
was awesome that they touched on this.
And before World War II, there hadn't been a war like that before. Yeah, World War II was going to happen less than 10 years later, but the truth of the matter is no one had seen a war that vast on that scale ever.
Yeah.
That's why it was called the Great War. The only reason why we call World War II, because there was one previous to it.
It's like World War this people. World War, this time it's personal.
Yeah.
No, you make a very good point. And the only conflict there is the original Wonder Woman stories, including the one this is loosely based on, was set in World War II. And making this in World War One, I think they were able to get away from the obvious equations people were going to make to Captain America.
That, and you know the other thing, I just kind of, it hit me. World War One, and I actually said something to you about it while we were watching the movie, that World War One was one of the last wars that we fought on horseback. A lot of innovation in the world of weaponry happened during World War One.
Mm-hmm.
Like
mustard gas.
Yeah, mustard gas was invented during.
I've been in this trench for 3 weeks. I got Trump.
Flight squadrons.
Before that, yes, they were using Trump butt.
Yeah, flight squadrons was the first war that we had planes. That's the first time air forces were put together. So
well, the Air Force before then was, dragons went extinct. They just couldn't.
Yes. But
just flinging guys off catapults.
It's funny that she would come in during this time that was almost a revolution in war happened. And people had bigger, badder weapons than they ever had before. And so then this weapon of goodness just shows up during all of that.
They touched on that a little bit in the movie. They didn't show a lot of her fighting the modern weaponry. I do like the scenes where it's like she gets in that zone where it's like, what are you all cowering in this trench for? Let the battle's over there, let's go. And she gets up and they're firing bullets at her. They can't, nothing's touching her thing. She's deflecting with the bracelets. And then it gets gangster. She walks up to a tank, boom! Get this piece of crap out my way. And I'm like, that's Wonder Woman. Yes!
Yeah.
And the story was really well written. I like how they painted her as the naive character who has been out of civilization, but it wasn't like one of those, and I guess for lack of a better term, because I do hate this term, male power fantasy type thing where it's like, because she's naive, everything's like, oh no, Earthman, I don't understand your world. A kiss, what's that? Show me, please.
There wasn't a Lulu
She was a
moment.
fish out of water, but
none of those.
She was knowledgeable about at least the basics of human society.
Yeah,
even
when
human society has changed since the Amazons have been cut off from it, but she did understand certain basics. She understood.
They had that moment there's a scene in the movie where they do broach that, and she's like, now we go to sleep now before the battle. He's like, you want me to sleep next to you? Yes, sleep with me here, and we go to the battle. It's like, what? But no, that means something a little different. See, when a man and a woman, and she's like, no, right? She's like, no, I know what sex is. I know what penises are.
She's like,
she's
no,
like,
what I like about,
I'm aware.
Remember the Fifth Element? He tries to kiss her, and he just puts the gun to her head, and she puts the gun to his head. And they go, oh yeah, you're right.
The best part of that scene is when she told him that men were not necessary for the pleasure of sex, but only procreation.
Yeah, that part kind of stung. I know the background and the details, and it makes perfect sense, but still hearing it out loud, come on, that's cold. That's a low blow.
That was great.
Well, also, I do have to point out, besides those obvious,
but the writing, those little moments in the the dialogue and the way they related to each other were good. Even though she didn't necessarily understand everything about the world, she related to people.
Yes.
And they were always... She treated them like her peers, even though we all kind of know they weren't her peers.
Yeah.
Of her all-inspiring power and whatnot.
I like the way they painted Wonder Woman as a warrior. Her character was, she wanted to get into the fight. She had her own battle plan and she wanted to enact it. When she saw the British government going a more pacifist route, she was like, no, I've got my own agenda. Let's handle business. And she had a set enemy that she went for. And I really appreciate that because the character of Wonder Woman is supposed to be a warrior, not someone who's confused, not someone who, kowtows to anybody else's plan.
She had definite purpose.
Yes. And then came those special effects during the fights where I'm like, this is some revolutionary stuff.
Yeah, I did. Like, even though I was aware of the special effect, every time it happened, it looked good, and I was happy with the way the fight choreography worked together with it. Right.
That lasso was straight out of Castlevania too.
Yeah,
it was just yeah.
I love the lasso.
Which can be like a very corny. Like, she's gonna rope him like the Lone Ranger. No, she was like bam, whip, bam, stab, bam, cut, bam, flip into this like tank, bam, mortar. It was
Shield.
It was dope.
Did they play the Wicked song?
What's up?
Was it da 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 da?
No.
Okay, no, they didn't play.
They didn't act. No, I can't. No, they didn't use the Wonder Woman theme song. Actually,
no, they didn't.
At all.
I
didn't hear it at least.
The new theme, they didn't do any homages. It wasn't even like a Linda Carter cameo or anything. Which
there were like hints of other stuff that were related to Wonder Woman's history, but nothing huge.
Yeah, what it comes down to is this was a really good movie.
It
really
was.
Enjoyable, really fun time. And I think, save for The Dark Knight and then Batman Begins, this is the top third
I still say that movie
best DC movie, I think, ever. And I'm counting the Christopher Reeve movies. Like this was just a really well done movie
that's
with
Patty
a lot
Jenkins'
of attention paid.
Even better than Richard Pryor?
Yes.
She was inspired by the original Christopher Reeves movies. And you know what? That was a good way to go. Because if Superman is not going to be our symbol of hope in this universe, then goddamn it, Wonder Woman will be.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's face facts. Superman recently has been a job sucker. So I'm kind of glad.
I do not like those movies, man.
You know what? I fought for a long time. I still fight for Man of Steel as the best example of Superman in action, but that does not make them good movies, which is a damn shame because I would like to see a good Superman. I've always thought he was a tool, and I would like to see something prove me wrong. Or at least get like Superboy with the badass like leather jacket.
Ugh, Superboy.
I used to like Superboy. What do you hate it?
I still like Superboy.
Oh, all right. I misunderstood that. Ugh.
I'm looking. See, now I'm kind of looking forward to the Nightwing movie because I'm sorry, ain't nothing better than Dick Grayson.
No, we got Grayson on YouTube. If they do that story, it'll be awesome. If not, well, anyways, I do want to call it a couple of performances because Ewan Bremer, we haven't seen him as far as I remember since I think it was Snatch. Yeah, he was the dude that Bullet Tooth pulled out of the car. And yeah, exactly. This is how long ago we're talking about.
I'm like
old movie, good movie. Snatch with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, vaguely. Like I haven't seen that movie in years.
All right, well, this was before Jason Statham, long before the Transporter. All right, well, he was the sniper guy.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
The
sniper dude. Oh, he was in Snatch.
Yeah, no shit. Remember him?
Okay, I vaguely remember him.
All right, well, also Danny Houston was in this sucker. A man who I've never seen play anything but the ultimate villain. And I mean ever. I've seen this dude in like 100 movies. Never once has he played a likable guy.
So why would he change?
Right?
I don't know, but
Powers Booth didn't change.
There's no...
Rest in peace, bro. Rest in peace.
Everybody has a niche. It's okay. That's his niche.
I guess. The only negative thing I have to say, which I'm not alone in this, but it's apparently still an unpopular opinion. Gal Gadot, I liked her performance as Wonder Woman.
Like you say that fast. I like you.
Yeah. You just want to say it now, don't you?
Yeah. He's trying.
Gal Gadot, what do you have problems pronouncing? I liked her performance as Wonder Woman. I don't think she had the look, and I was really bothered by this until
I agree.
A little bit more muscle, but I understand that she went from a much like willowy figure to gaining 25.
No, she was straight Kate Moss.
Yeah, she gained almost 20 pounds of muscle, and that in a fairly small amount of time.
Yeah,
Is this like a
pretty-
Logan moment where the body type at first makes us all kind of like, that's not quite right, but the performance is so solid that we don't have to
is
overlook
solid.
it?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Because the original story this was based on, she would have been in ballet slippers and getting in. It would have been like a bondage fetish movie.
Well, I
Pretty
mean, the original writer of Wonder Woman was
into bondage,
yeah,
which
no,
is
we
why we
thought
have
we-
the lasso of truth.
So.
I like. I
Oh,
love
that's
that
also the
character,
thing
so-
where her cuffs,
Yeah.
if they came off, then her ultimate power was released, and if you bound them, it took away her powers.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
all.
no, we all
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
They changed
I didn't know that.
She had
I like
the
that.
I just learned something new.
in this.
Whatever it
Also,
does,
the
it's
lasso
over.
with truth scene, I really liked.
Oh,
That could have
no.
been. Here,
Which
lasso, you
one?
tell me everything. The first one with Chris
Okay,
Pine.
okay.
It's like the first one. Oh,
There were two with Chris Pine,
I
that's
went
why
to bed,
I
but
was
I was like, no, it's like he
Yeah,
fought
no.
it, and it's just like, oh, I can't.
Like, why?
I'm a spy. Oh, god damn.
Yeah.
Fine,
And
you
can
got
we
it.
just say Chris Pine was such a delight in this movie?
I liked him.
I loved him
did.
as
This is my
Steve
first
Trevor.
Chris
Like,
Pine
he was-
performance since the first 2009 Star Trek as Captain Kirk.
Like, my God, like, of all the men for Wonder Woman to meet to give her hope in humanity, he proved to be exactly that man.
Mm-hmm. Dude, this was definitely above and beyond. I highly recommend anybody.
So
check
much.
it
Go
out.
see this movie.
Yes, please.
If you see
Please.
no other DC movie, see this movie.
No, if you see no other DC,
Matter of
movie,
fact, don't
consider
see
yourself lucky.
any other DC movie. Just see this movie.
A lot of hate. A lot of hate.
Because
Stay home.
It's all of Wonder Woman. Wonder
Don't
Woman.
see anything.
Check it out.
Just see Wonder Woman, though.
All right, I want to turn it over to my main man, JM, the Thriller Priest, who has the lowdown on WWE.
Extreme Rules.
Extreme!
So this will be down and dirty version of what happened. Extreme Rules took place in Baltimore. Interestingly enough, Adam Jones, the center fielder from the Orioles, who had a
He's a friend of ours.
unfortunate run in
Friend of
here in
yours.
Boston a few weeks back. He cosplayed at this pay-per-view. He was Virgil, his two boys, who was Ted DiBiase and IRS.
That's funny.
So it was
You
hilarious.
sure he was
seeing
cosplaying and sure he didn't just like shave his head and kick children?
he wasn't sad Virgil. He was Virgil with the little suit and the sleeves cut off. So he was Virgil in his prime, not
Why is it when I
current day
hear
Virgil.
Virgil, I automatically think the character
chicken?
from
Mighty Max?
Yes.
Hey, excuse me. I will actually.
Exactly.
All right, no, sorry,
Random.
Okay.
that's a deep cut. Sorry.
Random. So I'll give you down and dirty about a couple matches. One, The Miz went up against Ambrose. It was a no DQ match. The Miz took it, but I like the way he took it. It kind of goes back to what I mentioned before about when a bad guy wins in a scummy sort of way, that it can add to his character. It definitely add to his character. Since it was a no DQ match, no, if Ambrose got disqualified, he would drop the belt. So The Miz asked his wife to slap him in the face because if The Miz gets hit, then Ambrose is disqualified. So it was like one of those sort of scumbag sort of moves, like hit me now, and she slapped the hell out of him, but the ref didn't let it count and blah blah blah.
I hope not. Yeah.
It'd have been hilarious if he did. It just would have added to the scumminess of The Miz's character. But The Miz won either way, 7-time IC champ.
I still like the Miz, by the way.
You said what?
I still like the Miz. Just saying.
I'm liking him now, but he was reality TV star from the real world that was just trash.
Yeah,
We can
he's
get
still a
into that.
trash wrestler.
He is,
Yeah.
but I like his scum character.
Yeah.
I do like his
No,
scum
his
character.
character's great.
He's a great character. His wrestling skills. I'm with you on that one, Adam. Neville went up against A-Double, Austin Aries. Neville took it, and I don't know what the hell's going on with this, man, because you got this rivalry happening, and A-Double just keeps losing. And it's to the point where she's getting frustrated because you got this guy who's a great talent. Why aren't you giving him a push? Every time he fights this guy, he's losing, and it doesn't make sense for his character to the point where it's just frustrating watching him. Let me jump over to the women's title match. Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. This will be the low point of the night for me because it just goes to show that the Raw brand does not give a damn about women's wrestling. Because all you did was sit there. You did a 1990s, late 90s kendo stick on a pole match. If those of you who used to watch WCW back in the day when they got so desperate with Vince Russo, who they paid $750,000 for 7 months worth of work, he would do all these such on a pole. It was stick on a pole and nightstick on a pole and legit Geritol on a pole and Viagra on a pole, and it was literally these things were on a pole.
Well, with
For all
Viagra,
these,
that
Yeah.
is a pole, isn't it?
that was literally you're a mess. There was literally all these stupid little gimmicks of such on a pole. So they built up this match between these two great female wrestlers for them to fight, essentially just trying to get this one stick, and they got the stick, and Alexa Bliss beat the hell out of Bayley, and that was it.
So
And
give him the
here's
stick.
another
No,
one.
Give him the stick.
And
I'm sorry. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
I'm not even mad at you. It was the opening was there. My beef is one of those, what the hell are we doing gimmicks? Like, I mean, questions again. Like, with this women's division, with Raw, I mean, SmackDown's done some amazing things with the women. I mean, you have SmackDown's doing a ladder match, a 5-way women's ladder match, which is the first time I've seen it in WWE. A ladder match. Raw, you having these women fight to climb up a rope and grab a stick. Like, what are you doing? It's almost asinine.
It wasn't a belt at the top.
No, it was the stick. They legit had to climb up the corner, grab the stick, and whoever got the stick get to hit each other with it. And it was just ridiculous. And it's just asinine. It's almost insulting as a fan to watch them just do these high class quality female wrestlers this way. And it's like, what are you doing, Raw? And considering the fact that the Raw brand's ran by the female CEO, you kind of scratch your head like, what are you really doing?
Well, is she
probably her idea.
As a CEO, is she really still writing?
But she's in creative and she's pretty much writing Raw exclusively.
Okay, there's kind of a thing sometimes that happens for women who are like the only one who are successful.
When you are the owner,
you
are the owner.
You own that. The same thing happens to women that happens to minorities sometimes when they reach a certain level, they assimilate.
Yeah.
But she was born into this too. I don't think she reached that level. That's her family stuff.
But
she was always there.
A largely male-run industry.
I didn't see anything else put in there.
I'm just saying it happens. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it happens.
It's like the commercial where the woman, despite being like, the wife and mother, she's like wearing socks like her dad and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I get it.
I mean, I'm not discounting what you're saying. I'm just not really sure this applies to this particular case.
I'm just saying that.
So, I mean, that's kind of my whole thing. When I'm just kind of scratching my head like, what are we doing?
Unpleasant to women, it's because it's what it is.
True, it could be. It could be. And finally, Samoa Joe took the fatal 5-way match. I like the way it finished. It finished very well. It looked like Roman Reigns was going to take it. And just looked like he was just going through his final move set. When you watch Roman Reigns fight, ultimately we watch any pro wrestler fight, they go through their final 5 move set before the final pin and it's over. So Reigns is going through his final 5 move set, and of course the crowd's going nuts because they're angry because they hate Reigns.
They hate him so much.
To this very day, and like, you still hate this guy. Damn, dude, he's been around for like 5 years. Let it go.
Yeah,
like let it go. You still hate this guy.
He's gonna turn a corner someday.
It's not his character. His character's supposed to be a good guy, and like they're just mad at him because he got rushed to the top. But it's like he's been here for like 5 years now. Let it go, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna turn a corner eventually.
I hope so.
It's gonna be like 10 years from now, but he'll do
it. Legit question. Because I know Joe's got a face down with Brock Lesnar coming up.
Yes. As a result of this match.
Yeah. So do you think, because even though Roman Reigns, his push is basically over, do you think that this was pretty much just like them throwing Samoa Joe a bone, just so he can be that much higher? To then job to Brock Lesnar and make Lesnar look good, make him look like the unstoppable, beast. Do you think that's what?
And in actuality, that's what some of my buddies were asking me the exact same thing.
All right.
That's my hope is not, because if you build up Joe this much just for him to fall to Lesnar, it's just almost sickening at this point. If you do that, it's predictable, and I wouldn't be surprised if Raw did that. But it'll be disappointing to do that to the wrestling fan, because you want to see someone like Joe who's grinded his way through. In order for him to be able to get the championship. I mean, it would be crummy if they did it that way, but I could totally see that happening. So it's my hope that he wouldn't. However, while we're on the air, Monday Night Raw is playing. Of course, me being the pro wrestling correspondent, I'm trying to be on top of it. I had buddies of mine text me that Samoa Joe just had a really good run-in with Paul Heyman, which is really setting up this match that's supposed to be happening in a few weeks between Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. That is building up really well. So my hope is that a quality match would happen, and that Brock Lesnar does drop the belt to Joe, and Joe will probably drop it back to him. That's my hope, but I can see it going the other way, exactly what you're saying, that it could be Joe when Joe doesn't win, they just build him up for Lesnar to squash. And I hope Raw learned his lesson about that, but if Raw's going to do what they did with the women, with this kendo stick on a pole, I could totally see him doing that with Joe. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Sounds like some extreme rules that they have going on there.
Okay. No more from me. All right. If y'all have anything more to say on it, check us out at twitch.tv/The Geek Down. And you can actually discuss, do the live, it's over now. But hit us up with any notes and comments there, and we'll get back to you. Or geekdownradio@gmail.com. What's the next pay-per-view, brother?
Money in the Bank in 2 weeks on the 17th, 18th? Whatever that Sunday is.
Yeah, that's the 18th.
18th, there you go.
And we'll be on top of it.
Yep.
All right, cool. Want to thank you all for joining us for want to thank you fine folks again for joining us for another awesome episode of Geek Down here on WEMFradio.com. Want to thank Fem Bones in the house.
Oh, I had a great time.
Oh, glad you did. Be sure to check out Revenge of the Robot Battle Nuns coming up on
June 16th and 18th at Oberon.
Get your tickets at
AmericanRepertoryTheater.com or just Google us. We're not. You can't miss us.
All right. All right, and also want to thank in-house my man Black Adam Willis.
Yep.
Want to thank Shayna.
Hey.
Want to thank JM the Philip Priest.
Peace.
Want to thank DJ Herbie Herb. Want to thank Just Johnny.
Yep.
And want to thank you fine folks out there. You can catch us every Monday nights, 9 p.m. right here on WMF Radio or on twitch.tv/The Geek Down or on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on Facebook, on Twitter. Find us, link us, search us on iTunes. We are all over the sucker. On Instagram, you can see our pretty faces. And we'll catch you all Monday night, right? We'll catch you all next week, next Monday, right here. Until then, be excellent to each other. Peace.